Tonight, you are permitted to stop carrying what has no answer. You do not have to earn this permission. You do not have to prove that you tried hard enough, worried long enough, explained yourself clearly enough, or stayed strong for one more day. You do not have to arrive at bedtime with every question tied neatly into place. Some things are still unfinished. Some people are still uncertain. Some decisions are not ready. Some conversations may remain unresolved. Some parts of your future have not shown you what they are becoming. And for this one night, none of that disqualifies you from rest. You can come to the end of the day without bringing the entire day into bed with you. You can lie down while life is still incomplete. You can close your eyes before every loose end has found its place. There is no rule that says your mind must solve tomorrow before your body is permitted to sleep tonight. For a long time, you may have believed the opposite. You may have believed that if you kept thinking, you would eventually reach the one thought that made everything safe. If you replayed the conversation enough times, you might find the sentence you should have said. If you checked the message again, studied the silence again, reviewed the details again, perhaps the uncertainty would become smaller. If you planned every possible outcome, maybe nothing could surprise you. If you stayed mentally alert, you might prevent disappointment before it arrived. And this can become such a quiet habit that you barely recognize it as effort. Your body lies down, but part of you remains at work. You check what you already checked. You reopen what you already closed. You go back through a conversation that ended hours ago and examine the smallest changes in tone. You remember one expression on someone's face and wonder what it meant. You hear a sentence again in your mind and begin translating it into possibilities. You think of what you said, then what you could have said, then what you will say if the subject comes up tomorrow. You create replies to words no one has spoken yet. You prepare explanations for judgments that have not been made. You defend yourself before anyone has accused you. Sometimes the mind calls this preparation. Sometimes it is fear wearing the clothes of responsibility. You may check your phone even when you know there is probably nothing new. You may look at the time and calculate how many hours remain before morning. You may open an email again because your eyes passed over one line too quickly the first time. You may read a message and then read it once more, not because the words have changed, but because you are hoping your feeling about them will. You may think about someone you love and try to manage their choices from the privacy of your own mind. You imagine what they should do, what they need to understand, what you hope they will stop doing, what you wish they would finally see. You rehearse the talk that could change them. You wonder whether you have been too soft, too direct, too available, too distant. Deep habits rarely change because of one beautiful sentence. They change through repeated experiences of safety. You put one thing down, nothing collapses. You stop checking for a little while. The world continues. You postpone a decision until morning. The decision is still there, but you are clearer. You do not answer immediately. The relationship survives the pause, or the pause reveals something useful. You admit that you do not know, and somehow you remain whole. This is how a new inner experience begins. Not through perfection, through small evidence. You begin to understand that uncertainty can exist beside you without becoming your master. You begin to see that a thought does not always deserve another thought. You begin to learn that some questions need time more than analysis. You begin to separate what is yours to do from what is yours to wait for. This distinction can change the quality of a night. Ask nothing of yourself right now except honesty. Is there anything useful you can actually do about the concern in this exact moment? Not tomorrow, not in imagination, not through a future conversation. Now. If the answer is yes, the action is usually simple enough to name. Write down one reminder. Set the alarm. Put something by the door. Send a message if the hour and situation make sense. Ask for help. Make a note to call someone. Then the action has a shape. But if there is no honest action available, the mind may be creating labor where life has created waiting. Waiting is difficult because it gives the mind very little to do. It cannot manufacture another person's answer. It cannot speed the processing of something outside your hands. It cannot force understanding into a relationship that needs two people. It cannot pull tomorrow closer without also stealing from tonight. It cannot create certainty where certainty does not yet exist. So it circles, it reviews, it predicts, it checks, it repeats, it calls this activity. But activity is not always movement. You know this from moments when you have tried to solve the same thought from 10 different angles and ended in the same place. The mind has been busy. Nothing has moved. That realization does not mean you were foolish for trying. It means you have reached the point where effort is no longer the tool. There are seasons in life when effort matters enormously. You make the call, you have the conversation, you learn the skill, you leave what is unsafe, you protect what needs protecting, you repair what can be repaired. You tell the truth. You make the plan. You show up. And then there are moments after effort has done its part. Moments when the next movement does not belong to you. That space can be uncomfortable because it is not empty. It is filled with uncertainty. Yet uncertainty is not the same thing as danger. This is important. The mind can confuse the two. Not knowing what happens next can create sensations that feel urgent. The chest tightens, the thoughts speed up, the body prepares for something. But a feeling of uncertainty does not always mean immediate harm is present. Sometimes it means your system has reached a place where prediction is no longer possible, and prediction has limits. You have seen those limits before. You have worried about things that never happened. You have also been surprised by things you never imagined. You have prepared for one conversation and had a completely different one. You have expected someone to react one way and watched them react another. You have believed a certain path was closed and later found a different route opening. You have thought you were behind and then discovered that the delay changed what became possible. You have also wanted something deeply and learned that wanting could not make another person, system, or circumstance obey your timeline. Life keeps demonstrating the same humbling truth. Your mind can prepare. It cannot control the whole field. This is where trust begins to become practical rather than poetic. It is not a promise that everything will be easy. It is not a promise that nothing difficult will happen. It is the understanding that you do not have to know the whole future in order to meet the next real moment. You can respond when something is actually here. You do not have to respond tonight to 100 imagined versions of tomorrow. Your energy can remain where your life is. Here, in this room, in this hour, inside a body that has carried you through another day. There are things beyond you that are still moving. People are making decisions you cannot see. Processes are unfolding. Time is doing work that thought cannot do. Distances are being crossed. Conditions are changing. Information is gathering. Emotions in other people may be shifting in ways they have not yet expressed. Your own understanding can change after sleep. The sentence you cannot find tonight may be obvious in the morning. The decision that feels impossible while you are exhausted may become simpler after you have rested. This is not magic. It is what happens when the mind is given room to stop pushing. You have likely experienced this already. A problem follows you through the evening. You set it aside because you have no choice. You sleep, and in the morning it has not disappeared, but your relationship to it is different. You can see one piece more clearly. You are less fused with the fear. A practical step appears. The emotional charge has changed enough for you to think. That is not failure to solve the problem at night. That is evidence that rest can be part of how you meet it. You are not losing time by sleeping. You are changing the condition in which you will meet time. This is why the night does not need to become a workshop for every concern. It can be a place where effort ends for a while, a place where the mind stops demanding proof, a place where life is permitted to continue without your constant witness, and underneath all of this, there is another truth beginning to form. Holding is not the only way something can stay connected to you. You can care without gripping. You can remember without rehearsing. You can love without managing. You can prepare without controlling. You can hope without bargaining. You can wait without abandoning yourself. You can be responsible without carrying the entire outcome. At first, this may feel unfamiliar. There is a particular kind of tiredness that comes from being mentally clenched for too long. When that tension begins to soften, the first sensation may not be peace. It may be emptiness. You may think, if I am not working on the problem, what do I do with this part of me? If I am not watching the situation, where does my attention go? If I stop rehearsing, what fills the silence? If I stop trying to influence what another person decides, what do I do with all this care? These are meaningful questions, because the grip often becomes a structure. It gives the mind a job. It fills the space. It creates the feeling that you are doing something. And when that job ends, even briefly, the quiet can feel unfamiliar. This is where you do not rush to fill it. You stay near the quiet. You do not need to turn it into an achievement. You do not have to feel peaceful enough. You do not have to become deeply spiritual or completely certain that everything will be fine. You only need to stop adding another layer. One less review, one less prediction, one less attempt to decode what cannot be known tonight. One less imaginary conversation. One less promise to yourself that you will think about it for 5 more minutes. One less check. This is how the inner grip begins to change. Not because you tear your hands away from what matters, because what you are holding begins to change state. Think of winter near the end of its season. For a long time, ice can appear completely fixed, hard, still, locked in place. It does not look like movement is possible. It holds its shape through cold nights. It gathers along the edges of streams. It covers what is beneath it. From the surface, nothing seems to be happening. Then the temperature changes by degrees so small that you might not notice them at first. The first change is not dramatic. There is no sudden announcement. The ice does not fail because it softens. It responds. A thin line loosens near an edge. A surface that was rigid begins to shine differently. Tiny drops form where firmness once seemed permanent. Water begins to appear inside what looked motionless. This is how some kinds of holding end. Not with force. With enough warmth that the old shape no longer has to remain. The ice does not need to be punished for being ice. It formed because the conditions were cold. It became hard because hardness made sense in that season. It held because that was what the temperature asked of it. And when the season changes, the same water can become something else. This matters for you. The ways you learned to brace had conditions too. They formed somewhere. They had reasons. They may have helped you survive confusion, unpredictability, loss, pressure, or responsibility. They may have kept you ready. They may have helped you function. But what once needed to be held tightly does not have to stay frozen forever. A habit can soften without becoming meaningless. A protective pattern can change without you betraying the person you were when you needed it. The old hardness does not have to be broken. It can thaw slowly, naturally, in its own honest time. And when ice melts, it does not vanish. This is one of the most important things to understand. It becomes water again. It moves. What looked like loss is actually change in form. What was fixed becomes current. What was held begins to travel. What could not move joins something larger. In the beginning of spring, the river does not ask each piece of melting ice to explain where it has been. It receives the water. The hard edges disappear into motion. The frozen surface becomes part of the flow it once covered. Nothing needs to be forced forward. The warming is enough. For tonight, imagine only this much. You do not need to break the part of you that has been holding. You do not need to make it disappear. You do not need to judge the years it stayed firm. You can begin by giving it conditions in which softening is possible. Less demand, less argument, less urgency, less command, more room, more rest. A little more warmth toward yourself. There may still be frozen places. That is not a problem. Spring does not arrive everywhere at the exact same moment. One edge may loosen while another remains hard. A small stream may begin moving beneath a surface that still looks still from above. Change can be underway before it becomes obvious. This is true inside you too. You may still have the same question tomorrow. You may still care about the same person. You may still have work to do. You may still need to make a decision. Yet something can shift in the way you carry it. That shift matters. The problem may remain. The grip can change. The uncertainty may remain. The night can still become quieter. The question may remain unanswered. You can stop pressing it against yourself. The ice does not become free by discovering an answer. It becomes free because the conditions around it change. Tonight, you are changing one condition. You are no longer demanding that every unresolved thing stay frozen in your attention until morning. You are giving the mind a different temperature. You are letting effort end where effort has reached its limit. You are letting what cannot be solved tonight remain outside your active hands. And even if only one small edge inside you begins to soften, that is enough for now. You do not need the whole river yet. You only need the first movement. The first movement does not need to be large. Sometimes the beginning of spring is almost invisible. A little water gathers where there had only been hardness. A narrow edge becomes clear. The surface that looked fixed starts answering to warmth. Nothing announces itself. Nothing needs to prove that winter is ending. The change happens because the conditions are no longer asking everything to remain frozen. Your inner life can change this way too. You may still feel the old firmness around a question. You may still wake a thought that has followed you for days. You may still feel the pull to check, plan, replay, or predict. That does not mean nothing is changing. What matters is that you no longer have to keep strengthening the ice. Each time you decide not to review the same conversation again, you stop adding cold to what is already frozen. Each time you admit, "I do not know yet," without turning that uncertainty into a crisis, something softens. Each time you remember that another person has their own choices, their own timing, their own inner world, you loosen your hold on what never belonged entirely to you. Each time you choose sleep over another hour of mental labor, you change the conditions. You do not have to see immediate results. Spring does not ask the river to become full in one night. It begins with thaw. There may have been winters inside you that lasted a long time. Periods when you needed to become firm because too much felt uncertain. Times when you learned that staying alert was safer than being surprised. Times when you could not rely on an answer arriving, so you trained yourself to anticipate every possibility. Times when something changed suddenly and you promised yourself that next time you would see it coming. Times when another person's behavior was unpredictable, so you became very good at reading small signs. Times when you carried responsibilities that seemed too important to put down. Those experiences may have taught you to freeze around certain kinds of uncertainty, not because you chose fear, because you adapted. Water freezes when the conditions become cold enough. It does not become bad water. It does not lose its nature. It responds to what surrounds it. You did too. There are parts of you that became more guarded because being open once felt costly. There are parts of you that became more controlling because chaos once arrived without warning. There are parts of you that became endlessly prepared because you remember what it felt like to be unprepared. There are parts of you that learn to hold everything very tightly because losing something once hurt more than you knew how to say. Tonight, those parts do not need criticism. They need warmth, not the warmth of false promises, not someone telling you that nothing difficult will ever happen again, not the pressure to think positively when something truly hurts. A different warmth. The warmth of being met without judgment. The warmth of knowing you do not have to solve your entire life before resting. The warmth of remembering that you can meet tomorrow when tomorrow becomes real. The warmth of understanding that you are permitted to learn as you go. The warmth of knowing that mistakes do not remove your right to care for yourself. The warmth of recognizing that you can change direction after new information arrives. The warmth of admitting that some outcomes are not yours to command. That kind of warmth does not argue with the frozen places. It stays near them. And slowly, what has been clenched can begin to become fluid again. You may recognize one such place now. A question you have been keeping very close. You may not even need to name it fully. You know the feeling of it. You know how your mind returns to it. You know how it waits behind other thoughts. You know the moment in the evening when it usually becomes louder. Maybe it concerns someone. Maybe it concerns a choice. Maybe it concerns something you lost. Maybe it concerns something you hope will still happen. Maybe it concerns a situation where you have done everything you know to do and still do not know the outcome. For now, you do not need to determine what the question means. You only need to recognize how long you have been holding it in one shape. You may have been holding it as a problem that must be solved. What if, for tonight, it can become something that is moving, not solved? Moving. There is a difference. A river does not need to know the final shape of every drop before it begins to carry water forward. The thaw does not pause until it understands where every current will go. Water joins movement because movement has become possible. This is where the image becomes more than something beautiful. It becomes useful. What finally softens does not disappear. It begins to move. The care does not disappear. The love does not disappear. The memory does not disappear. The responsibility that truly belongs to you does not disappear. What, Chan? Guess is the way you are holding it. You do not have to preserve every concern in a frozen state to prove that it matters. You can let it move through time. You can let more information reach it. You can let tomorrow meet it. You can let another person carry their share. You can let your rested mind return to it later. You can let what is no longer yours continue beyond you. This is not forgetting. It is movement. Imagine a long stretch of winter near a river. For weeks the edges have been stiff. Sections of water have been covered. Snow has gathered along the banks. The surface has carried the appearance of stillness. Yet beneath that surface, movement has never fully ended. Water continues below what you can see. It finds room. It travels under the frozen places. It remains itself even when the top appears unmoving. There may be something like that in your own life right now. You may look at a situation and think nothing is happening. No answer, no change, no sign, no decision, no visible progress. And because you cannot see movement, the mind assumes there is none. Then it tries to create movement by thinking harder. But there are forms of movement that happen beneath visibility. Your own understanding can be changing before you can name how. Another person may be working through something you cannot witness. A circumstance may be reaching its natural conclusion. A delay may be gathering information that will matter later. A feeling that seems permanent may already be losing some of its force. You do not need to turn these possibilities into guarantees. You do not need to convince yourself that every unseen process is working in your favor. You only need to remember that what you can see is not always the whole picture. The frozen surface is not the whole river. This thought can loosen something. Not everything requires your observation in order to move. You have spent many hours watching for changes that were never going to happen because you watched them. You have stared at the phone, watched the clock, checked an account, refreshed a page, returned to an inbox. read the same words, looked for signs in someone's behavior, measured the silence between messages, counted the days, counted the hours, counted how long it had been since something felt certain. And beneath all that watching was a tender hope. If I stay close enough, I will know the exact moment something changes. But knowing the exact moment does not always give you more power. Sometimes it only gives you less rest. The river moves whether you sit beside it all night or not. That does not make your attention meaningless. It means your attention is precious. You do not have to spend all of it on waiting. You can return some of it to yourself. You can bring some back from tomorrow, some back from someone else's choices, some back from a past conversation, some back from a decision that cannot be made until more is known, some back from the fear of being wrong, some back from the fear of being left, some back from the fear of disappointing someone, some back from the belief that if you stop watching, something important will slip away. What belongs to you does not require constant fear to remain meaningful, and what does not belong to you cannot be secured through fear. This is a difficult truth, but it is also freeing. You can love someone and still be unable to control what they choose. You can work hard and still be unable to control every result. You can make a wise decision and still be unable to predict every consequence. You can tell the truth and still be misunderstood. You can offer care and still not be able to heal another person's pain for them. You can prepare carefully and still meet something unexpected. These realities are not evidence that you should try harder to control. They are evidence that life has always included movement beyond your hands. The question is not whether you can control all of it. You cannot. The question is whether you will spend the night pretending you must. There is exhaustion in pretending. The body knows when the assignment is impossible. It feels it in the effort that never reaches completion. If your task is to make everyone happy, there is no end. If your task is to make sure no one misunderstands you, there is no end. If your task is to predict every difficulty, there is no end. If your task is to prevent all regret, there is no end. If your task is to guarantee that a choice will work before you make it, there is no end. If your task is to make someone else become ready, there is no end. If your task is to solve an unknown future, there is no end. No wonder the mind becomes tired. It has been working at assignments with no finish line. Tonight, those assignments can begin to melt. You do not have to tear them away. You can look at one and say, "This was never fully mine." You can look at another and say, "This can wait until morning." You can look at another and say, "Someone else has a part in this too." You can look at another and say, "There is no answer available yet." You can look at another and say, "I have already done what I can today." Each recognition adds a little warmth. The old shape loses its necessity. The mind does not have to stay frozen around the same demand. You may even feel a little grief when this happens, because holding has cost you, but holding may also have made you feel connected. To stop worrying about someone can feel like stepping away from them. To stop replaying a loss can feel like leaving something behind. To stop reviewing an old decision can feel like admitting that the past truly cannot be changed. To stop planning every possibility can feel like admitting that you are not in control of the future. There can be sadness in those admissions. Do not rush through it. Thaw is not always cheerful. When winter begins to loosen, the landscape can look messy. Snow becomes uneven. Ice cracks at the edges. Water gathers where everything used to look firm. The change can seem less beautiful than the stillness that came before, but movement is returning. Inside you, movement may feel like tears. It may feel like tiredness. It may feel like suddenly realizing how much effort you have been spending. It may feel like a long exhale. It may feel like a thought appearing that says, I cannot keep doing this to myself. It may feel like no dramatic feeling at all. Only the decision not to check again tonight. That is movement too. There is no correct emotional experience you have to produce. You are not trying to perform calm. You are not trying to prove that you have mastered anything. The river does not perform spring. It responds to it. You can respond to this night in the same quiet way. A little less holding, a little less effort where effort cannot help, a little less demand that you know what cannot yet be known, a little more willingness to leave one thing unsolved. There is strength in that willingness, not the strength of force, the strength of no longer spending yourself against what will not move by pressure. Ice does not become water because someone strikes it harder. It changes because warmth reaches it. This is why kindness toward yourself matters tonight. Harshness keeps the old temperature. Harshness says you should be over this. You should know better. You should have decided already. You should not care this much. You should not still be thinking about them. You should be stronger. You should be calmer. You should know what to do. These thoughts sound like commands toward improvement, but they often create more freezing. The mind tightens because now it must solve the original problem and also defend itself against your judgment. What if there is nothing wrong with the fact that you do not know yet? What if uncertainty is not a character flaw? What if tiredness is information? What if your inability to solve something tonight is not proof that you are failing? What if the unanswered question is simply at a point where more time is required? You do not have to believe all of this perfectly. A small willingness is enough. The edge begins there. You can say, I may not need to carry this in the same way tonight. Not forever. Tonight. That is small enough for the mind to hear. You can say, I can return to what is mine when the day returns. You can say, I do not need to decide what cannot be decided yet. You can say, I can care without staying on watch. These are not demands. They are openings. And openings matter when something has been frozen. As warmth continues, the ice near the riverbank may loosen first. The center may remain firm for longer. This is natural. The places that have been protected for years may not soften as quickly as the places you have held for a week. Some concerns are close to the surface. Some are linked to old experiences. Some are connected to grief. Some touch the fear of abandonment. Some touch the fear of failure. Some touch the fear of being powerless. Some ouch, the fear that if you stop holding, no one else will hold anything. You do not need to untangle all of these tonight. You do not need to find the origin of every pattern. You only need to understand that different places thaw at different speeds. Do not measure your progress by how quickly the deepest ice disappears. Measure it by whether there is any movement at all. One thought you do not follow. One check you postpone. One outcome you stop rehearsing. One person's emotional state you return to them. One old mistake you refuse to prosecute again. One unknown you leave unknown. One night you choose not to solve your whole life. That is enough movement for one evening. The spring river is fed this way, not by one enormous piece of ice vanishing at once, by countless softening places. A drop, a thread of water, a narrow stream, more warmth, more movement. The water that had been fixed becomes part of something that can travel. And now there is another part of this image for you. The river does not keep the water at the exact place where it entered. It receives it and carries it onward. This can be difficult for a mind that wants to know exactly where everything is going. If you set down the worry, where does it go? If you stop controlling, what happens next? If you stop replaying the past, who keeps the lesson? If you stop carrying the person, does the connection disappear? If you stop forcing an answer, will an answer still come? The mind wants to track everything. It wants receipts for the things it puts down. It wants proof that the worry has been transferred safely. It wants to know where the current is taking what was once held. But the moment you demand complete knowledge of where it goes, you are holding it again. This is the delicate part. You do not have to know. You only need to know that keeping it frozen in your mind is not the same as keeping it safe. The worry may return tomorrow as a practical action. Then you can meet it as an action. The concern may return as a conversation. Then you can meet it as a conversation. The grief may return as a feeling. Then you can be with the feeling. The decision may return with more information. Then you can choose from what you know. The relationship may return with clarity. Then you can respond to what is real. But tonight, none of those future forms needs to remain frozen in your hands. What softens can move toward its next form without disappearing from your life. This is the lesson the thaw keeps repeating. Change is not always loss. Movement is not always abandonment. Putting down mental control is not the same as ceasing to care. You are not throwing your life away from you. You are ending one exhausting way of holding it. You are giving the unresolved room to move through time. You are giving yourself room to move with it rather than against it. And when something inside you asks, "Who will carry this if I do not?" you do not have to answer with a grand belief. You can answer with what is true. Time will carry part of it. Reality will carry part of it. Other people will carry what belongs to them. Tomorrow will carry what cannot happen tonight. Your future self will meet information your present self does not yet have, and you will carry the part that is actually yours when the moment to carry it arrives. Not all at once, not every possible version, only the real part. This is enough. You are not required to solve imaginary tomorrows in order to be ready for a real one. The river does not carry every possible direction. It carries the water that is here. You can do the same. What is here right now? A body nearing the end of a day. A room becoming quieter. A mind that has worked hard. A question that may still be unanswered. And beneath the question, a deeper possibility. You may not have to hold it through the night. Do not force yourself to accept that all at once. Stay with the image. Ice that has been firm for a long time. Warmth reaching it. The first clear water at the edge. A little movement beneath the surface, then more. What was held so tightly returning to motion? You try to solve their life while lying in the dark with your own eyes tired. There may be someone whose silence has become a task you keep assigning yourself. You wonder whether you should reach out or wait. You study the last exchange. You wonder if distance means anger, confusion, busyness, fear, or something you have not considered. You try to interpret what has not been said. You make yourself responsible for finding meaning inside an empty space. There may be something practical pressing on you as well. A decision, a deadline, a family concern, work that is not finished, a bill that needs attention, a choice that affects more than one person, a result you are waiting for, a problem that does require action, but not action you can take from bed at this hour. Still, the mind reaches toward it. It checks tomorrow's list. It rearranges the order. It tries to predict the difficult part. It runs ahead to the moment when you may need to speak, respond, decide, explain, pay, decline, accept, ask, change direction, or begin again. It wants to get there early, as if arriving in thought before arriving in time could protect you from what the moment will ask. You may even carry the emotional weather of other people after they have left the room. Someone is disappointed and you feel responsible for lifting it. Someone is upset and you search for the exact behavior that will restore peace. Someone is struggling and you quietly appoint yourself as the one who must stay steady enough for everyone. Someone makes a choice you cannot control, and your mind keeps returning to it as though one more hour of concern might give you influence you do not actually have. This is how the grip hides. It can look like caring. It can look like being dependable. It can look like trying to be a good partner, a good parent, a good friend, a good daughter, a good son. A good colleague, a good human being. It can look like devotion to getting things right. And because the intention underneath it may be loving, you may not see how tired you have become from trying to hold what was never fully yours to command. There are nights when you are not only carrying what happened, you are carrying what might happen. You brace for the phone call before the phone rings. You imagine the answer before the question is asked. You feel tomorrow's meeting in tonight's shoulders. You live through a difficult morning before morning comes. You picture several endings to a situation and emotionally visit each one as though worry must inspect every room before sleep is safe. You may call this being realistic, but realism does not require you to suffer an event before it exists. There is a difference between being prepared and being unable to set preparation down. There is a difference between caring and constantly monitoring. There is a difference between responsibility and the belief that your vigilance is the force keeping everything from falling apart. At times, the hardest thing to put down is not the problem itself. Nothing destroyed, nothing denied, nothing thrown away, only changed. This is how you are approaching the handover. Not by dropping what matters into emptiness, by letting what has been frozen enter movement again. You will not be asked to give away your wisdom. You will not be asked to give away responsibility. You will not be asked to ignore what needs action. You will only be asked to stop freezing the unresolved inside your own attention. There is a difference, and your body may already understand it before your mind does. The shoulders may begin to lower a little. The hands may feel less ready to reach. The jaw may not need to hold quite so firmly. You are nearing the place where effort can become handover. Not because every concern has become easy, because you are beginning to understand that carrying it harder is not the same as carrying it wisely. Soon, you will not need to ask where every drop goes. You will only need to decide whether you are willing to let the first one move. You do not have to move everything at once. One concern is enough. One question is enough. One unfinished thing is enough. Choose nothing dramatic. You do not need to search for the heaviest burden or prove that you are ready for some great inner change. Let the mind bring forward whatever it has been returning to most often tonight. the thing you have already thought about enough, the thing you have checked enough, the thing you have turned over from one side to another until there is nothing new to find, the thing that has been taking energy without giving you an answer. Hold only the awareness of it, not the whole story, not every detail, not the names, not the history, only the sense of this unresolved thing that has been staying close to you. You have carried it as though continued attention might keep it from changing in a way you do not want. You have carried it because some part of you believed that distance would be dangerous. You have carried it because you did not know what else to do. Tonight, you are learning another possibility. The unresolved can leave your active hands without leaving your life. It can enter time. It can enter tomorrow. It can enter the part of reality that continues beyond your awareness. Like winter ice beginning to soften, it does not have to disappear in order to stop being fixed. It only has to move. That is the handover, not denial, not forgetting, not pretending. Movement. You are no longer requiring this one thing to remain frozen inside your attention until you know how it ends. You can let it begin moving toward whatever comes next. If action is required tomorrow, action can meet you tomorrow. If a conversation is needed, the conversation can happen when the people involved are awake, present, and able to speak. If more information is needed, you can wait for information instead of manufacturing possibilities. If the answer belongs partly to someone else, you can stop trying to create their part from inside your own mind. If no answer ever arrives in the form you hoped for, you will still be able to meet what is real when it is real. You do not need to meet every possible ending tonight. This is where you can give yourself one sentence. Not a sentence to force belief, not a sentence to repeat until you feel different. A sentence that names what you are choosing for these hours. I give the unsolved to life's current. You do not need to make anything happen after those words. Let them remain exactly as they are. The unsolved does not have to be thrown away. It does not have to be reduced. It does not have to become unimportant. It can enter movement. The question can still matter while you stop holding it in one fixed shape. The person can still matter while you stop managing their side of the river. The decision can still matter while you stop demanding that it become clear before morning. The future can still matter while you stop trying to live it tonight. This is what the current changes, not the value of what you care about, the form in which you carry it. For a long time, you may have held certain concerns like solid pieces of winter. You could turn them over, study every surface, feel every edge, know the exact shape of the worry. You knew where it hurt. You knew where it pressed. You knew what you feared losing. You knew what you hoped would happen. And because the worry stayed firm, it felt as though you could keep track of it. Movement asks something different. Movement asks you to stop knowing the exact shape. Water does not keep the outline ice had. The old form is gone, but nothing essential has vanished. That may be the part that frightens you. The mind likes form because form can be monitored. This is the problem. This is the plan. This is what I will do. This is what they should do. This is what must happen. This is what cannot happen. This is when it should happen. This is how I will know I am safe. Everything receives an edge. Everything becomes something you can mentally hold. But life is not always willing to remain inside those edges. People change, timing changes, you change, circumstances change, needs change, understanding changes. What seemed necessary last month may look different later. What seemed like the only possible path may turn out to be one path among several. This is why gripping an unresolved situation can become so exhausting. You are not only holding the situation, you are trying to hold its shape still. You are trying to prevent new information from changing what you believe. You are trying to keep the future inside a form that feels predictable. And life keeps moving. Tonight, you do not have to fight that movement. You can give the unsolved somewhere to go. I give the unsolved to life's current. This second time, hear the word give. Giving is different from losing. Giving is chosen. It has direction. It says, I no longer need this to remain entirely inside me. It says, I can keep what is mine and stop carrying what is not. It says, I can care and still share the weight with time, reality, other people, and whatever tomorrow brings. There are concerns that are yours to act on. Keep the action. There are facts you need to remember. Keep the facts. There are boundaries you need to protect. Keep the boundary. There is support you need to ask for. Ask for it. There is harm you may need to step away from. Step away where safety requires it. There may be circumstances where qualified professional help is the wise next action. That help is not a failure of inner work. It is part of caring for what is real. What you are putting down tonight is not discernment. It is not your voice. It is not your right to say no. It is not your responsibility to protect yourself. It is not the practical work that genuinely belongs to you. You are putting down the impossible assignment of controlling what cannot be controlled from this bed in this hour. This distinction matters. Letting go does not mean approving what hurt you. It does not mean pretending someone treated you well when they did not. It does not mean staying near someone who is unsafe. It does not mean accepting repeated harm in the name of being peaceful. It does not mean refusing help because you think you should be able to handle everything internally. There are times when the most caring action is distance. There are times when a clear boundary is necessary. There are times when a professional, trusted person or practical resource needs to become part of what happens next. Inner peace does not ask you to become passive in the face of danger. Rest does not ask you to surrender your judgment. You can put down the mental struggle and still take real action when morning comes. In fact, separating those two things may make action clearer. There is the part you can do, and there is the part you cannot command. The mind often mixes them together. It takes one real responsibility and surrounds it with 10 imagined ones. A real responsibility may be to have a difficult conversation. The imagined responsibilities become making sure the other person understands perfectly, making sure they agree, making sure they do not feel upset, making sure the relationship remains unchanged, making sure you never regret your words. Only one of those may actually belong to you. A real responsibility may be to submit work by a deadline. The imagined responsibilities become predicting everyone's reaction, preventing every criticism, guaranteeing success, making sure no unexpected problem appears. Again, the mind expands one task into an impossible world. A real responsibility may be to make a careful decision. The imagined responsibility becomes knowing with absolute certainty that no other decision could ever have been better. Life does not give you that kind of proof. So tonight, you can separate the pieces. What is mine? What is not mine? What can be done? What must be waited for? What is a fact? What is a feared possibility? What belongs to another person? What belongs to time? You do not need to answer each question aloud. The distinction itself begins changing the pressure. Some assignments dissolve as soon as you realize they were never yours, and some do not dissolve immediately. Some part of you may still resist. It may say, "I understand what you are saying, but this situation is different. This one really does need me. This one really is too important to stop thinking about. This one could change everything. This one has already hurt too much. This one cannot be trusted to time." If that voice appears, do not argue. Resistance does not mean the handover has failed. It means a protective part of you still believes holding is safer. You do not have to drag that part into agreement. Offer something smaller, a line that asks for willingness instead of certainty. I am willing to loosen this for tonight. That is enough. You are not promising forever. You are not promising that the thought will never return. You are not promising that tomorrow will be easy. You are not promising that you will never feel afraid about this again. You are saying only that the grip can change for these hours. You can be willing before you feel ready. You can soften before you understand everything. You can rest while a question remains open. You can step out of the mental argument without deciding who was right. You can stop rehearsing a future conversation without knowing how it will go. You can stop checking for tonight without promising that you will never check again. Small willingness creates room, and where there is room, movement becomes possible. The thaw does not ask ice whether it is emotionally prepared to become water. The conditions change. The form responds. Tonight, the condition you are changing is the demand that your mind remain irresponsible for everything. You are lowering that demand. You are no longer asking thought to do the work of time. You are no longer asking worry to do the work of wisdom. You are no longer asking vigilance to do the work of safety when practical safety measures are what is actually needed. You are no longer asking imagination to provide certainty. You are letting each thing return to its proper place. Thought can help you think. Planning can help you plan. Action can help you act. Boundaries can help you protect what matters. Support can help you carry what is too heavy alone. Sleep can help you rest. And time can do what only time can do. This is a more balanced way to live. You do not have to assign every task to your mind. Some things do not improve through thought. They improve through distance, through sleep, through conversation, through information, through changed conditions, through accepting that another person is free to choose, through accepting that you are free to choose too, through recognizing that the future cannot be made completely safe by rehearsing it. There is a quiet dignity in this recognition. You do not become smaller when you stop trying to control everything. You become more available to what is actually yours. Energy returns. Attention returns. Your ability to respond returns. The part of you that has been standing guard can begin to understand that it is not abandoning its post. The shift has ended for tonight. That is different. Tomorrow may ask something of you. Tomorrow may require courage. Tomorrow may require honesty. Tomorrow may require a decision you have been avoiding. Tomorrow may require patience. Tomorrow may require you to make a call, say no, ask a question, face a fact, make a change, or ask someone for help. Then you can meet tomorrow awake. You do not become more prepared for those moments by exhausting yourself before they arrive. The river teaches this without speaking. Water moves because movement is available. It does not spend the night worrying about the bend ahead. It does not need to rehearse the next mile. It meets the shape that is present. You can begin to live more like that in the places where control has exhausted you. Not recklessly, not carelessly, responsively. One real moment, then another. You can meet what comes instead of meeting what you fear may come. And if something difficult arrives, you can respond from the person you are then with whatever information, support, wisdom, and strength are available then. You do not have to borrow pain from that future self tonight. You do not have to pre-live every possibility. This is part of the handover. Giving tomorrow back to tomorrow. Giving other people back to themselves. Giving old events back to the past after you have taken the lesson you can take. Giving unanswered questions enough space to remain unanswered. Giving yourself permission to be a human being inside a life that cannot be fully predicted. That permission may feel softer than control. It may also feel stronger, because control often requires constant tension. Trust requires a different kind of strength. It asks whether you can stay present when certainty is absent, whether you can choose wisely without absolute guarantees, whether you can care without possessing the outcome, whether you can act without demanding that your action create exactly the result you want, whether you can stop measuring your safety by how much you are holding. This is not something you master in one night. You practice. Tonight is one practice. Tomorrow night can be another. If returning here helps you remember that the day does not have to follow you into sleep, come back tomorrow night and practice putting down only what that day asks you to carry. You do not need to make a promise beyond that. One night, one thaw, one little piece of hardness returning to movement. For now, come back to the concern you chose. It may already feel different, or it may feel exactly the same. Both are acceptable. You do not have to measure the effect. You are making a choice, not taking a test. The third time you hear the core words, do not push them into the mind. Let them sit near the part of you that has been carrying too much. I give the unsolved to life's current. That is the handover. You do not need to see where it goes. You do not need to know what tomorrow does with it. You do not need to know whether the answer comes quickly or slowly. You do not need to know whether the outcome matches what you hoped for. You have only stopped requiring yourself to hold the whole unresolved shape through the night. Something may still ache. Let it ache without turning the ache into an assignment. A feeling is not always a command. You can feel sad without fixing the sadness. You can feel uncertain without manufacturing certainty. You can feel disappointed without deciding what the disappointment means about your future. You can miss someone without reaching toward them in a way that harms your peace. You can love someone and still keep a boundary. You can want an outcome and still stop gripping it. You can be afraid and still choose rest. Feelings may stay after assignments leave. This is important. Putting down the mental job does not mean the emotion vanishes. You may still feel the weight of what matters. That is human. But now the feeling does not have to drag behind it a chain of tasks. You do not have to solve the feeling. You do not have to explain it. You do not have to decide what it predicts. You do not have to send a message because it appeared. You do not have to reopen a conversation because loneliness arrived. You do not have to reverse a boundary because guilt became uncomfortable. You do not have to make a decision because uncertainty became loud. A feeling can pass through without being given control of your next action. This is another form of movement. The old pattern freezes feeling into instruction. I feel worried, therefore I must check. I feel guilty, therefore I must say yes. I feel lonely, therefore I must reach back. I feel uncertain, therefore I must decide immediately. I feel afraid, therefore something must be wrong. Tonight, you can loosen those connections. You can feel worried and remain still. You can feel guilty and keep the boundary. You can feel lonely and still protect your peace. You can feel uncertain and wait. You can feel afraid and ask whether there is an actual danger or only an unknown. This is not suppression. It is discernment. You are giving emotion room to move without requiring it to become your commander. The river does not hold one drop in place because the drop carries a strong feeling. Everything is permitted to continue. Your feelings can continue too. They can rise, change, become quieter, return, pass again. They do not have to become permanent truths, and neither do your thoughts. A thought can be intense and still be only a thought. A fear can be vivid and still be only one possible future. An urge can be strong and still not deserve action. You are creating a little distance between experience and assignment. That distance is where choice returns. Choice matters. Because healthy surrender is never the loss of choice. It is the end of trying to choose for everyone and everything. You still choose your words, your boundaries, your actions, your values, your next honest step. You stop choosing the outcome on behalf of life. You stop demanding that another person follow the path you have designed for them. You stop requiring the future to make promises it cannot make. You stop trying to force timing into obedience. And in that space, you may discover that your actual responsibilities are fewer and clearer than fear made them seem. There is what you can do. There is what you can ask. There is what you can decline. There is what you can learn. There is what you can repair. There is what you can leave. There is what you can accept as unresolved for now. These are enough. Your life does not require omnipotence from you. It requires presence. It requires honesty. It requires attention to what is real. And tonight, what is real is that you have reached the end of another day. There is no prize for holding every unresolved thing until morning. There is no hidden virtue in becoming exhausted by possibilities. There is no proof of love in sleepless worry. There is no wisdom in punishing yourself with questions that have no answer yet. Your care can remain. Your values can remain. Your practical intentions can remain. The frozen grip is what can soften. It can become water. The water can enter movement. The movement can continue without your supervision. What finally softens does not disappear. It begins to move. And what begins to move no longer has to remain clenched inside you. There is a quieter kind of strength available now. It does not come from tightening your thoughts around the future. It does not come from forcing yourself to feel certain. It does not come from pretending that every difficult thing has already been resolved. It comes from knowing where your responsibility ends. That boundary can be deeply calming. You can care about tomorrow without carrying tomorrow tonight. You can care about another person without carrying their choices. You can care about an outcome without carrying every possible path toward it. You can care about your own mistakes without carrying permanent punishment. You can care about healing without demanding that every wound become understandable before you rest. Some things remain important after you put down the mental work around them. This is what makes the difference. The feeling can remain. The assignment can leave. You may still feel tenderness around something. You may still feel disappointment. You may still wish you had a clear answer. You may still miss someone. You may still feel unsettled about a choice. You may still wonder what comes next. None of these feelings proves that you need to return to active holding. A river can carry water that is cold. The water does not have to become warm before it moves. In the same way, you do not have to feel completely peaceful before you stop gripping. You can move while some uncertainty remains. You can rest while some sadness remains. You can sleep while a question remains open. The old pattern may tell you that you must solve the feeling first. You do not. You only need to stop turning every feeling into work. There are emotions that need to be felt. There are situations that need action. There are situations that need support. There are situations that need distance. There are situations that need time. Wisdom is learning not to confuse these. If something truly requires your action, you can act when action becomes available. If something requires protection, you can protect yourself. If something requires a boundary, you can keep the boundary even when part of you feels guilty. If something has harmed you, letting go does not ask you to call the harm acceptable. If you are in danger, the answer is not passive acceptance. Safety comes first. If a burden is too much to carry alone, asking for qualified support is not weakness. It is an honest response to reality. Tonight is not asking you to hand away your judgment. It is asking you to stop assigning your mind work it cannot complete. That is all. There is such freedom in that distinction. You do not have to approve what happened in order to stop replaying it. You do not have to forgive on command in order to sleep. You do not have to reopen a relationship in order to become peaceful. You do not have to stay available to someone who repeatedly harms your well-being. You do not have to abandon practical action in order to stop fighting an outcome you cannot control. You can remain wise. You can remain clear. You can remain protected. And still, something can soften. The ice does not have to stay hard simply because the winter was real. The cold happened, the freezing happened, the stillness happened. And then another season arrives, not to deny the winter, to continue beyond it. There are things in your life that may be ready for this kind of continuation, not closure in one dramatic moment, not a perfect ending. Continuation. A memory can remain part of you without remaining a prison. A disappointment can remain true without defining what happens next. A question can remain unanswered without owning the night. A person's absence can remain painful without requiring you to chase. A mistake can remain part of your history without becoming your identity. A hope can remain alive without becoming a demand. The river does not argue with where the water has been. It receives what enters, then it moves. You can receive what is here too. This happened. This hurts. This matters. This is unfinished. This is not mine to control. All of those sentences can live together. You do not have to choose between truth and peace. Peace becomes more honest when it includes the truth. The body understands honesty. It knows when you are pretending. It knows when you say, "I am fine," while everything inside you is braced. It knows when you force yourself toward calm. It knows when you are trying to perform acceptance because you think that is what a good or spiritual person should do. You do not need to perform anything tonight. If you are still sad, you can be sad. If you are tired, you can be tired. If you are uncertain, you can be uncertain. If you are angry about what happened, you can acknowledge the anger without feeding it all night. If you are afraid, you can recognize the fear without making the fear responsible for every decision. Feelings do not disqualify you from rest. This may be one of the deepest lessons of the night. You can stop waiting to become emotionally perfect before you care for yourself. You can sleep before everything inside you agrees. One part can still be worried. Another part can rest. One part can still wonder. Another part can become quiet. One part can still miss what was lost. Another part can stop reaching toward it. One part can still be afraid of tomorrow. Another part can know that tomorrow has not arrived. This is enough. You do not need complete inner agreement. You only need enough willingness to stop adding pressure. The thaw continues without argument. The harder places begin to loosen around their edges. What was once fixed becomes more responsive. The water beneath begins to move more freely. And now the work can become smaller, smaller than thought, smaller than analysis, smaller than language. You have spent enough of this day in the mind. You can come down into the body now, not to examine it, not to improve it, only to stop asking it to hold the shape of every concern. Begin with your hands. They have reached for so much. They have held devices, doors, papers, cups, keys, bags, tools, other hands. They may also have carried invisible work, the impulse to fix, the impulse to reach, the impulse to check, the impulse to keep something from slipping away. You do not need those impulses for these next hours. Let the hands become less responsible. Let the fingers stop preparing. Let the palms have nothing to prove. Whatever position they are already in can be enough. Your hands do not have to hold tomorrow. Your hands can be empty tonight. Your hands can soften around what they cannot solve. Your arms can stop carrying what belongs to another hour. Your shoulders can lower the weight of imagined outcomes. Your face can stop preparing for the next conversation. Your chest can stop guarding every unanswered question. Your belly can stop bracing for news that has not arrived. Your legs can stop running ahead into tomorrow. Your feet can stop searching for a path that is not visible yet. Nothing needs to be forced downward. No muscle has to obey. These words are invitations, not commands. If the body remains tense in places, that is okay. Tension can take its own time. Remember the riverbank. Some edges loosen first. Some areas remain cold for longer. You do not have to make every part soften at the same speed. Stay with the hands. How many things have they symbolically held today? A decision, a concern, a name, a plan, a responsibility, a memory. You can stop asking the hands to represent all of that. They are only hands now. Warm or cool, still or restless, heavy or light. They have done enough for this day. The arms can follow. You have reached toward things, reached toward answers, reached toward people, reached toward control, reached toward certainty, reached toward one more piece of information. Tonight, the arms do not have to reach. What is meant to be handled tomorrow can wait until there is daylight, information, and real opportunity to respond. The shoulders have often carried the language of responsibility without words. They rise when you brace. They tighten when you anticipate. They hold the posture of someone preparing for the next demand. They can stop preparing now. Not forever, for tonight. The face can become less watchful. The forehead does not need to solve. The jaw does not need to hold back what was never said. The eyes do not need to search the darkness for answers. They have seen enough for one day. The chest may still contain feeling. Do not ask it to become empty. The heart can care without being on duty. You can feel love without turning love into control. You can feel loss without turning loss into endless review. You can feel hope without making hope into a demand. The belly may be where uncertainty has gathered, a waiting feeling, a knot, a low uneasiness. It does not need a name. You do not have to understand it. You can let it be present without treating it as a prediction. The body sometimes prepares for what the mind imagines. Tonight, you can row. Be minded that imagination is not the same as an event. The legs can stop preparing to carry you into tomorrow. Tomorrow will have legs of its own when morning comes. For now, there is nowhere else to go. You do not need to reach the answer. You do not need to arrive at the decision. You do not need to find the ending. The feet can become very ordinary. Nothing more is required of them. And beneath all of this, the out-breath can become the place where effort has somewhere to go. You do not need to make the breath deep. You do not need to count it. You do not need to breathe in any special way. The body already knows how to breathe. Only let the exhale be a reminder. What has finished can leave. What cannot be handled tonight can wait. What belongs to another person can return to them. What belongs to time can enter time. What belongs to tomorrow can stay there. What belongs to the past can stop asking for another trial. Each outward breath can be like the first water leaving the edge of melting ice. Not disappearing, moving. The hands loosen with the out-breath. It is the role you have taken around the problem. The fixer, the watcher, the one who remembers, the one who follows up, the one who anticipates what everyone will need, the one who checks whether the door is locked, whether the plan is clear, whether the message was received, whether the person is okay, whether the timing still works, whether the details make sense, whether the next step has been considered. You can become so practiced at being the one who holds things together that rest begins to feel irresponsible. Even when nothing is being asked of you, you keep asking things of yourself. Did I do enough? Did I miss something? Should I have handled that differently? What if I am forgetting something important? What if tomorrow goes wrong because I relax too soon? What if I stop thinking and lose the answer that was almost here? This is a very demanding way to end a day, not because there is something wrong with you, but because the mind can confuse continued effort with continued safety. It can believe that as long as it keeps moving, you are protected. It can treat uncertainty like an emergency, even when the only honest truth is that you do not know yet. And not knowing can feel unbearable when you are used to finding a plan. You may be good at plans. You may be the person others turn to when something needs organizing, solving, smoothing, correcting, or carrying. You may have learned to think ahead because thinking ahead has helped you many times. You may have learned to read a room quickly because it once mattered that you understood what other people were feeling. You may have learned to keep backup plans because disappointment taught you not to depend on one path. You may have learned to stay useful because being useful gave you a sense of place. None of those skills have to disappear tonight. You are not being asked to become CR-less. You are not being asked to ignore what matters. You are not being asked to deny consequences, abandon good judgment, or pretend that real problems are imaginary. You are only being given permission to stop performing tomorrow's work during tonight's rest. There are things that belong to morning. There are calls that can only be made when offices open. There are conversations that can only happen when both people are present. There are decisions that deserve a rested mind. There are answers that are not available simply because you demand them at midnight. There are feelings in other people that you cannot rearrange by worrying harder. There are outcomes that will unfold through factors beyond your control. There are truths you may not be able to see until more information arrives. And there are moments when the most responsible choice is to recognize that no further useful action is available right now. That recognition can feel strange at first. Your hands may be still while your thoughts continue reaching. Your room may be quiet while your attention keeps moving from one concern to another. The arms give back their unnecessary weight. The shoulders drop what tomorrow has not asked for yet. The face leaves the unfinished conversation alone. The chest makes room around what still matters. The belly stops treating uncertainty like a command. The legs withdraw from imagined futures. The feet return fully to this night. There is nothing impressive about this. That is part of its power. You are not performing a ritual that must be done correctly. You are ending effort, a little at a time. The river does not judge whether one drop moves beautifully. It receives movement. You can receive these small movements too. A slightly heavier hand, a softer jaw, one less thought followed, one urge to check that passes without action, one question you decide not to answer, one memory you do not reopen, one tomorrow you do not rehearse. This is enough for the night to begin changing. And now, as words become shorter, you can let them pass through without holding them. You do not need to repeat every line. You do not need to agree with every line. Take the ones that fit. Let the others move by. I put down what has no answer tonight. I stop carrying tomorrow before it arrives. I return other people's choices to them. I keep only the responsibility that is mine. I leave unfinished conversations unfinished for now. I do not need one more check. I can care without standing guard. I can wait without abandoning myself. I stop rehearsing what has not happened. I stop rewriting what has already happened. I give time room to work. I let uncertainty remain unfinished. I do not force clarity tonight. I give my tired mind less work. I leave tomorrow's decisions with tomorrow. I return imagined outcomes to the unknown. I keep my boundaries. I keep my wisdom. I put down the rest. I stop chasing certainty. I stop bargaining with the future. I let other people carry their part. I make room for what I cannot know. I no longer punish myself with repetition. I leave the past where it is. I do not need to solve someone's silence. I can miss without reaching. I can care without controlling. I can pause without failing. I can rest before I understand. I can be uncertain and safe in this moment. I return the weight. I loosen the grip. I soften the edge. I enter movement. I choose less effort. I leave it here. I give it time. I stop chasing. I stop checking. I stop rehearsing. I keep my peace. I keep my boundary. I keep my breath. I leave the question. I leave the outcome. I leave tomorrow. I loosen now. I soften now. I am willing. Not all at once. Only tonight. Only this breath. Only this moment. The words do not need to become another thing to remember. They are passing water. Let them pass. Some may stay with you. Some may already be gone. There is no need to gather them back. You are practicing the opposite of gathering. The mind has gathered all day. Details, possibilities, responsibilities, signals, questions, warnings, memories. Now it can stop collecting. The river does not ask the melted water to return to ice so that it can be counted. It carries it forward. What you have placed down does not need to be inventoried again. The question is still where it needs to be. The practical task will still exist if it needs your attention. The people in your life remain themselves. Your values remain. Your memory remains. Nothing essential has been lost because you stopped holding it tightly for a few hours. There is more room now, maybe only a little. Enough. The thaw does not need applause. It only needs permission to continue. And tonight, permission has already been given. The night does not need anything more from you now. You have already carried enough into these hours. The questions have been named. The old habit of holding has been seen. The difference between responsibility and control has been made clearer. What belongs to another person can remain with them. What belongs to tomorrow can wait for daylight. What belongs to the past does not need one more trial in the dark. There is less to do now because doing is no longer the point. The river does not become more capable because you watch it. It moves because movement is what water knows. For a while you may have believed that your attention was the bridge between a problem and its solution. If you could stay close enough, think long enough, and care hard enough, eventually the right answer would appear. Sometimes thought does help. Sometimes thought does. Sometimes effort does matter. But you have also reached places where the mind could not take you any farther. This is one of those places. The next step is not more force. It is less holding. You can feel the difference. There is no need to push the concern away. There is no need to make yourself forget it. You are not trying to create emptiness inside your mind. You are giving the unresolved more room than your grip could give it. The thaw has already begun. What was held in a fixed shape has started to lose its edges. The old question may still be present, but it no longer has to be pressed against the same place inside you. It can move through time. It can meet new information. It can meet another person's choice. It can meet a morning that you have not entered yet. You do not need to travel with it tonight. The current can carry what you have already given. If the mind reaches after it, let that reaching be part of the old habit rather than a new command. It may say, just one more thought, just one more check, just one more version of the conversation, just one more attempt to understand. You know this road. It does not lead to a different answer when no new answer is available. So there is nothing to fight. The reaching can happen, and you can remain where you are. You do not have to follow every thought back to the frozen edge. You can stay near the moving water. There is a quiet difference between having a thought and climbing inside it. A thought may say that tomorrow will be difficult. You can hear it without living tomorrow. A thought may say that someone is pulling away. You can hear it without deciding what their silence means. A thought may say that you made the wrong choice. You can hear it without reopening the whole decision tonight. A thought may say that something bad will happen if you stop paying attention. You can hear it and still remember that attention is not the same as control. The thought can pass beside you. Water passes stones without asking them to disappear. You can remain still while the thought moves. There may be a familiar temptation to measure whether this is working. Am I calmer yet? Am I sleepy enough? Did I truly put it down? Will it come back tomorrow? You do not need those measurements either. A thaw does not become real because someone measures every drop. The smallest movement counts even when no one is watching. If you are only 1% less clenched, that is movement. If one question feels slightly farther away, that is movement. If you can lie here without checking something you wanted to check, that is movement. If the worry is still present, but you no longer believe you must solve it, that is movement. You do not need to turn progress into another responsibility. Let the night be ordinary. Let the room hold its quiet. Let the bed support the body without asking the mind for permission. The body has been waiting for this part. It has listened to your planning. It has carried your tension. It has followed you through every unfinished thought. Now it can receive less. Less command, less preparation, less imagined urgency, less responsibility for a future that has not arrived. Your hands have nothing left to hold for tonight. Your arms have nowhere they need to reach. Your shoulders do not need to stay lifted toward tomorrow. Your face does not need to prepare an expression for a conversation that is not happening now. Your chest can hold feeling without holding the whole story around it. Your belly can be uncertain without being warned. Your legs can remain here. Your feet have already brought you through this day. Nothing is chasing you into the next one. If the breath is small, let it be small. If it deepens on its own, let it deepen. There is no correct breath waiting to be achieved. The body knows more about resting than the thinking mind does. You have slept before without controlling the exact moment sleep began. You have crossed from waking into dreaming without issuing an instruction for every step. The night knows this transition. Your body knows it too. The mind may be the last part to believe it can leave the shift. That is all right. It does not need to leave dramatically. It can become bored with the problem. It can lose its place in the argument. It can forget which possibility it was trying to predict. It can begin a thought and not finish it. It can return to a concern and find less energy waiting there. This is often how sleep approaches, not as a victory over thought, as thought becoming less important. The river keeps moving beyond the place where you stop watching it. You do not need to know every bend. You do not need to follow every current. You do not need to see where the water goes before you permit your eyes to close. The melted ice does not ask to become ice again so that it can be tracked. It has entered movement. What you gave to movement can remain there. You can stop retrieving it. No more pulling tomorrow back into tonight. No more pulling another person's choices back into your hands. No more pulling old words back into your mouth so you can say them differently. No more pulling a closed hour open because you wish it had ended another way. The current can have what the day is finished carrying. You can keep the lesson without keeping the punishment. You can keep love without keeping control. You can keep discernment without keeping vigilance. You can keep a plan without rehearsing it through the night. You can keep your boundaries without defending them to imaginary audiences. You can keep hope without turning hope into pressure. This is enough. What matters can remain meaningful without remaining clenched. There may be one last concern that keeps stepping forward. The mind sometimes does this when the room grows quiet. It waits until everything else has softened and then presents the thing it believes you forgot. You do not need to be angry with it. It is checking whether you still want the old job. You can answer without words, no reaching, no opening, no investigation, no new plan. The concern can stand at the edge for a while. It does not have to be invited farther in. And if it stays, it can stay without becoming work. You are not required to remove every thought before sleep. Sleep can come while thoughts are unfinished. This is important because trying to empty the mind can become one more form of control. You do not need an empty mind. You need permission to stop obeying it. The thoughts may continue for a little while. Let them become background. A few words, a broken sentence, an image, a memory that passes, a plan that starts and fades. Nothing needs to be completed. The day has already ended. The mind can end its sentences later. If you wake during the night, you do not need to interpret that either. Waking does not mean something is wrong. A thought returning does not mean you failed to put it down. The river can receive the same water more than once. You can give the concern back again without frustration. There is no score. There is no perfect night. There is only practice in no longer turning uncertainty into duty. If you wake and remember the question, you can remember this too. You do not have to solve it because you are awake. You can remain a person resting in the night. The concern does not become more urgent because the clock has changed. Morning will still know how to arrive. The next useful action will still be available when its time becomes real. Until then, you can belong to sleep. The thaw continues without your supervision. This may be the most comforting part of the whole image. Spring does not require the river to remain awake. Warmth continues touching the frozen places. Water continues finding movement. What has softened continues downstream. You can rest while change is incomplete. You can rest while the edges are still thawing. You can rest while part of the old surface remains. You do not have to finish your transformation before bed. You do not have to wake tomorrow as a person who never worries. You do not have to become someone who never tries to control. You only need this night's experience of putting down a little more than you usually do. The rest can happen through repetition. Another day, another choice not to check. Another moment when you leave someone else's part with them. Another night when you remember that thought cannot do the work of time. Change does not need to be dramatic to become real. You are already practicing a different relationship with the unresolved. It may return, but it does not have to return with the same authority. The question can knock without owning the room. The fear can speak without choosing for you. The memory can appear without putting you on trial. The future can remain unknown without becoming an emergency. The current is large enough for what you cannot carry tonight. You do not need to know what that means in any grand sense. It can mean only this. There is somewhere for the thought to go besides deeper into you, into time, into sleep, into mourning, into another person's responsibility, into a decision that has not ripened yet, into a fact that has not arrived yet, into the simple unknown. The unknown does not have to be your enemy. It can be a place you do not enter yet, a place you leave alone. The future is not asking you to stand inside it tonight. Stay here. The bed beneath you, the air around you, the darkness behind closed eyes whenever the eyes are ready to close. The body becoming less interested in movement, the hands quiet, the shoulders less involved, the face less expressive, the jaw with nothing left to say, the tongue resting, the forehead no longer assigned to the problem. You have done enough thinking. You have done enough preparing. You have done enough carrying. Now the words can become lighter. You do not need to follow them closely. You do not need to remember the next sentence. You can lose your place. You can miss a line. You can drift away while the river continues. There is nothing later in these words that you must stay awake to receive. Nothing important will be lost if sleep arrives before the ending. This is permission too. You do not need to hear the final sentence. You do not need to complete the practice consciously. The decision has already been made. For tonight, the unresolved is no longer your night work. That is enough. The river can continue without your eyes on it. The water can move in darkness. The softened edges can join the current while the world is quiet. You can sleep while something remains unfinished. You can sleep while someone is still deciding. You can sleep while an answer is still forming. You can sleep while a door remains closed. You can sleep while a plan remains uncertain. You can sleep while the past remains exactly what it was. You can sleep without repairing the entire future. You can sleep because sleep is not a reward for certainty. It is part of being alive. The body does not need a solved life before it rests. It needs a place to stop. This is that place. For these hours there is no next move, no response to compose, no outcome to inspect, no choice to rehearse. no explanation to perfect, no silence to decode, no future to hold still. Only this night, only the softening, only what is moving away from effort. You have spent enough time at the frozen edge. There is no need to stand there watching the last piece melt. Turn inward toward rest now, not as another task, as a lack of task. The mind does not need to know how to do that. It can become quieter by losing interest. The body can become heavier without instruction. The spaces between thoughts can become longer without being measured. You may begin to forget what you were worried about for a few seconds. Then remember, then forget again. That is fine. Each forgetting is not neglect. It is the mind beginning to leave the shore. You do not have to hold yourself awake to make sure you have truly stopped holding. That would only be another grip. Let even the practice go now. You do not need to keep doing it correctly. You do not need to keep repeating anything. You do not need to hold the image. Even the river can fade. Even spring can disappear from thought. The teaching has already reached you. What finally softens does not disappear. It begins to move. And movement does not need your supervision. Your mind can become less precise now. Words may blur at the edges. Thoughts may take longer to complete. The distance between one concern and the next may widen. You may feel the body settle more deeply into whatever is beneath it, or you may feel very little. There is no requirement. Sleep does not need to be chased. It knows where you are. Your only work was to stop insisting that the unsolved stay awake with you. That work is complete enough. The rest belongs to the night. There is no need to think about morning. Morning is capable of arriving without rehearsal. There is no need to think about what you will feel when you wake. That person is not here yet. There is no need to decide whether tonight changed you. You can find out by living. For now, darkness asks nothing. The bed asks nothing. The next breath asks nothing. The current asks nothing. You are not being tested. You are being carried through hours you do not need to manage. If one last thought rises, it can rise. If one last feeling moves through the chest, it can move. Nothing has to be pushed back under the ice. Nothing has to be frozen again because it appeared. Let it move. Let it pass. Let it become less defined. There is more water now than ice, more movement than holding, more night than problem, more rest available than effort required. You can stop here. You can stop before certainty. You can stop before the answer. You can stop before the ending. Stopping is not losing. Resting is not losing. Not knowing is not losing. You are only leaving something unfinished until it becomes possible to meet it again. That is wisdom too. The current has what you cannot solve tonight. Your hands do not need it back. Your mind does not need it back. Your dreams do not need to finish it. It can remain beyond the edge of sleep. Now the night becomes quieter, fewer words, less effort. No solving, no checking, no reaching, no replaying. Nothing to prove, nothing to finish. The day is done. The question can wait. The answer can wait. Tomorrow can wait. You are here. You are tired enough to stop. You are human enough not to know. You are wise enough to leave some things unfinished. The old ice no longer needs your cold attention. The water knows movement. The night knows quiet. The body knows sleep. Let each one do what it knows. You do not have to help. The current continues. The room fades. Thought loosens. Time passes without instruction. There is nowhere you need to arrive. There is nothing you need to solve before the next breath. Nothing before the breath after that. Nothing before sleep. If you can still hear these words, let them become distant. If you are already drifting, stay there. No return is needed. No final effort. Only less. Less holding. Less knowing. Less reaching. The water moves on. The question moves out of your hands. The day moves into the past. You move toward sleep without needing to know the exact moment it happens. And if the mind asks one more time whether everything will be okay, you do not have to promise it anything. You can offer something truer. You will meet what is real when it is real. Not before, not all at once. For now, there is sleep. For now, there is no assignment. For now, there is nothing to carry farther. There is nothing missing from this night because the answer is missing. The answer belongs to another time if another time is what it needs. You do not have to keep a lamp burning inside the mind for it. You do not have to guard the place where the question was left. The current does not need a guard. The thaw does not need a witness. The dark hours are capable of passing on their own. Think of the ice farther upstream, where no one is standing beside it. It softens without applause. A clear drop gathers, falls, joins another drop, then another. A thin run of water forms beneath what still looks solid. The river receives each small return without asking whether it happened quickly enough. This can continue while you sleep, not as a promise that outside events will change while you are dreaming, as a quieter truth about you. You do not have to keep every inner shape rigid until morning. Something in you can become less fixed while you are no longer watching it. A thought can lose intense, and a fear can lose its sharpest edge. A decision can stop demanding immediate certainty. A memory can become less active. A question can move farther from the center. Nothing has to be forced. There is no instruction left to follow. You can forget this image too. The river does not need to remain in your imagination for its lesson to remain. You have already heard what you needed to hear. Hardness once made sense. Now softness is possible. Holding once felt protective. Now movement is possible. Watching once felt necessary. Now sleep is possible. You can leave each old strategy with gratitude for whatever it once tried to do. No argument, no shame, no demand that you should have learned sooner. A winter is not guilty for being winter, and spring does not arrive by condemning the cold. It arrives because conditions change. Tonight, one condition has changed. You have stopped insisting that wakefulness must protect you from uncertainty. You have stopped giving every unanswered thing the right to occupy your whole attention. You have stopped confusing care with endless mental effort. Even if those habits return tomorrow, you have experienced another possibility now. You know there is a way to care with open hands. You know there is a way to leave a question unanswered without abandoning yourself. You know there is a way to say, "Not now," without saying, "Never." You know there is a way to end the day before every problem ends. This knowledge does not need to stay conscious. It can become quiet with you. Let the night become less detailed. The room does not need a name. The hour does not need to be checked. Tomorrow's calendar does not need to be pictured. The people you thought about today do not need to stand in your mind now. The unfinished work does not need to be spread across an imaginary desk. The messages do not need to be reread. The possible answers do not need to be compared. There can be fewer objects inside thought, fewer edges, fewer plans, fewer names, more dark, more quiet, more distance from the day. You are not required to stay mentally present for every moment between now and sleep. Consciousness can begin to loosen its attention. It can wander. It can become strange. It can lose sequence. A thought may begin in one place and end somewhere unrelated. An image may appear without meaning. A sentence may dissolve before the final word. You do not have to correct any of this. You are approaching the place where order is no longer your responsibility. The river at night does not explain itself. It moves in darkness. That is enough. You can move toward sleep without explaining yourself too. No explanation for why you still care. No explanation for why you became tired. No explanation for why this particular uncertainty was difficult. No explanation for why you could not solve it today. The night is not asking for your defense. It is not evaluating your progress. It is not measuring whether you handled everything perfectly. It is only giving you hours in which nothing more has to be produced. Take those hours without earning them. Take them without making a bargain with morning. You do not have to promise to be more productive after rest. You do not have to promise to be calmer tomorrow. You do not have to promise to solve the problem quickly once you wake. Rest does not need repayment. You can receive it because the day is over. The thought that you should be doing something may appear again. Let it be late. Let it arrive after the office inside you has closed. No one needs to answer. No one needs to reopen the door. The thought can wait outside until morning. And if morning decides the thought was never important, it can move on without being served at all. How many worries have demanded midnight attention and looked smaller in daylight? How many imagined conversations never happened? How many feared reactions belonged only to anticipation? You do not need to calculate the number. Only remember that the mind is capable of creating urgency in darkness. You can respect its intention without accepting its timing. Not now. Morning can decide. That is enough. Your eyelids do not need to be heavy for these words to be true. Your body does not need to feel perfectly loose. Sleep is not a performance. If it comes slowly, you are still resting. If thoughts pass, you are still resting. If you turn over, you are still resting. If the mind briefly returns to the day, you can leave again without criticism, back toward less, back toward quiet, back toward no assignment. The current is still there. You do not need to rebuild the entire practice. One remembrance is enough. The unsolved can move, then stop. No more work. The spring river grows from many small softenings, not from one act of force. Your rest can grow the same way. A few seconds without following the thought. A little space around a feeling. A moment when the jaw is not preparing words. A moment when the hands remain where they are. A moment when the future is permitted to be absent. Then another. You do not need to count them. They can gather on their own. Sleep itself is made of giving up control over the next conscious moment. You do this more often than the anxious mind remembers. Night after night, at some point, you stop directing experience. You cross a threshold without supervising the crossing. You disappear from your plans for a while. Time continues. Life continues, and eventually you return. You have practiced this trust many times without calling it trust. Tonight can be no different. There is no need for a dramatic surrender, only the ordinary willingness to stop being awake on purpose. The river does not ask the last ice to melt before nightfall. Some of it can remain until another day. Your remaining worries can do the same. They can be unfinished. They can be unresolved. They can exist without your attention. Nothing about their existence requires your continued effort, now. The day had its hours. Those hours are gone. This hour belongs to rest. Let it stay simple. The body here, the question elsewhere, the current moving, the mind dimming, the night continuing. You do not need to know more than this. And soon, you do not need to know even this. The words can become sound. The sound can become distance. The distance can become nothing you need to follow. Stay nowhere in particular. Hold nothing in particular. Expect nothing from the next moment. Sleep does not need an appointment. It can find the space you have stopped filling. let the space remain unfilled. No final question, no last review, no promise that you will remember all of this tomorrow. You do not need to remember. Your only task was to stop making the unsolved your companion through every waking minute. For tonight, that task is finished. The river has room. You have room. The night has room. Nothing more needs to enter. One final choice can be enough. Not a promise about tomorrow, an action for this moment. I release the ice. I trust movement. The body may want rest, while the mind keeps opening doors it cannot walk through tonight. So you do not need to force the mind silent. You do not need to win an argument with your thoughts. You do not need to prove that every concern is unnecessary. A concern can be valid and still be set down for the night. A question can matter and still remain unanswered until morning. A person can matter deeply and still be outside your control. A decision can be important and still deserve time. A feeling can be uncomfortable and still not require immediate repair. This is one of the quiet forms of maturity, learning that urgency is not always truth. Sometimes urgency is the nervous habit of a mind that has carried too much for too long. It says, now. Fix it now. Understand it now. Get certainty now. Know what they mean now. Know what will happen now. Choose the correct path now. Make sure everyone is okay now. And when reality does not provide that certainty on command, the mind can turn against itself. It begins searching for the missing thought, the missing clue, the missing plan. You may have known this feeling for years. You finish one task and another thought appears. You solve one problem and the mind scans for the next. You receive reassurance and then wonder whether the reassurance will last. You make a decision and then begin reviewing whether you made the right one. You finally hear from someone and then study the wording. You create a plan and then create a plan for what happens if the plan fails. Control can become endless because life is alive. There will always be another variable, another person with their own will, another change in timing, another piece of information, another unknown, another day you have not lived yet. If peace required you to control all of that, peace would never arrive. This is why tonight's permission matters. It does not depend on every problem being small. It does not depend on you feeling calm already. It does not depend on your faith being perfect. You can be uncertain and still rest. You can be disappointed and still rest. You can be grieving a change and still rest. You can be waiting and still rest. You can be frustrated with someone and still rest. You can wish a situation were different and still rest. You can have work to do tomorrow and still rest tonight. Your rest does not announce that nothing matters. It says that you matter too. It says your mind is not a machine that must run until every problem in your world has been processed. It says your body is not required to stay alert because life is unfinished. It says you can respect your limits without abandoning your responsibilities. Sometimes the grip appears in the way you revisit the past. A mistake from years ago returns with surprising sharpness. A choice you would make differently now becomes evidence in a private case against yourself. You remember who you were when you did not know what you know today. You judge that earlier version of you using wisdom that only came later. The sentence can end there. You do not need another one to explain it. The frozen form has softened enough. The current has begun. You can stop watching. You can stop listening whenever sleep takes you. You can stop being responsible for how the night unfolds. Life is holding you now. Sleep while the unseen water carries on. You may replay an old ending, a friendship, a relationship, an opportunity, a home you left, a moment when you did not speak, a moment when you spoke too quickly, a season when you stayed too long, a season when you left before you were sure. The past cannot answer new questions, but the mind keeps questioning it anyway. What if? Why didn't I? How could I have missed it? Would everything be different if I had chosen another way? These questions can feel like a search for understanding, and sometimes reflection does help us learn. But there comes a point when reflection stops producing wisdom and begins producing punishment. You know the difference by what happens inside you. Wisdom becomes clearer. Punishment becomes repetitive. Wisdom points toward what you can do now. Punishment drags you back toward what cannot be changed. Wisdom leaves room for your humanity. Punishment demands that your past self should have had your present knowledge. Tonight, you do not have to hold court over your own history. You do not have to issue another verdict. You do not have to reopen a chapter only to accuse yourself again. You may have regrets. They can be real. You may need to repair something where repair is possible. You may need to apologize, change a pattern, set a boundary, seek guidance, or make a practical correction. Those are living actions. They happen in the present. They do not require you to remain trapped in self-judgment through the night. The same is true of the future. You can prepare without demanding prophecy from yourself. You can make wise choices without knowing every consequence. You can care about what happens without controlling every condition around it. You can ask for what you need without controlling another person's answer. You can take the next clear step without forcing the whole path to appear at once. There are parts of life that only reveal themselves after time has moved, and this can be difficult for the part of you that wants certainty before movement. You may want to know whether something will work before you begin, whether someone will stay before you open your heart, whether a choice is correct before you make it, whether a difficult season will end before you trust yourself to keep going, whether your effort will be rewarded before you invest it, whether saying no will cost you something, whether saying yes will change more than you intended. The mind wants guarantees because guarantees seem restful. But guarantees are not what create deep rest. What creates rest is the growing ability to meet life without demanding that life explain everything in advance. That ability does not arrive all at once. It is practiced in small moments, like this one. A night in which you do not know everything and you stop requiring yourself to know. A night in which the unfinished remains unfinished and you stop calling that a personal failure. A night in which someone else's choices remain theirs. A night in which tomorrow keeps its own questions. A night in which you do what you can and recognize when what you can do has ended for the day. There may be resistance to this. Some part of you may say, if I stop thinking about it, I am giving up. If I stop checking, I will miss something. If I stop carrying this person in my mind, I am being selfish. If I stop reviewing the decision, I may make a mistake. If I stop bracing, I will be caught off guard. If I stop controlling, things may move in a direction I do not want. That part of you deserves kindness because it is trying to protect you with the tools it knows. It learned that attention prevents pain. It learned that vigilance earns safety. It learned that control creates predictability. It learned that being needed can feel safer than needing. It learned that if you prepare for disappointment, disappointment may hurt less. It learned that if you keep every possibility in view, nothing can surprise you. And there may have been moments in your life when those strategies truly helped you get through. That matters. You do not need to shame yourself for becoming skilled at survival, responsibility, preparation, or care. You do not need to call your vigilance foolish. You do not need to become angry with your mind for trying to protect you. You can thank the old effort without continuing it all night. You can recognize what it was trying to do. You can say in your own quiet way, I see why you learned this. I see why you stayed awake inside. I see why you kept looking for the answer. I see why you wanted to prevent the next hurt. I see why you believed it was your job to hold everything together. And now, for these hours, you can begin learning something else. You can learn that rest and care can exist together. You can learn that pausing does not erase responsibility. You can learn that a problem can remain real without being held in AC. Tive thought every minute. You can learn that people you love can have their own paths. You can learn that uncertainty can be present without becoming your assignment. You can learn that the day can end before every issue does. You can learn that sleep does not have to wait for certainty. There may still be important steps to take in your waking life. Some burdens deserve conversation, support, practical planning, or professional care. If something is affecting your safety, health, or ability to function, reaching for qualified help can be a strong and wise form of self-respect. Resting tonight is not a replacement for real-world support. It is a way of giving yourself a little more steadiness for whatever honest next step may be needed. You might also recognize the grip in very small rituals that seem harmless because each one lasts only a moment. You straighten something that does not need straightening because your mind is still trying to create order. You check whether you set the alarm even though you remember setting it. You scan tomorrow's calendar one more time. You think of what you will wear, what route you will take, what time you should leave, what you will say if someone asks the difficult question. None of these actions is wrong. The weight comes from the feeling beneath them, the belief that one more check will finally produce the sense of certainty you have been looking for. Sometimes certainty does not come because nothing is missing. Sometimes the situation is simply not ready to answer you. That can be one of the hardest realities for a capable mind to accept. There are moments when more thought does not create more truth. There are moments when analysis reaches the edge of what is knowable tonight. Beyond that edge, the mind may keep moving, but it is no longer gathering new information. It is circling the same material with greater fatigue. You may feel this in your body before you admit it in words. The jaw stays busy. The shoulders remain slightly raised. The fingers keep reaching for the phone. The forehead tightens around a problem that has no new data. Even the breath can become small, not because you chose it, but because some part of you is waiting for the next thing to happen. You are not failing when you reach that edge. You are reaching the natural limit of what this day can give you. And limits can be kind. They can tell you that enough thinking has happened for now. Enough checking. Enough rehearsing. Enough trying to manage responses that belong to other people. Enough standing guard over outcomes that will continue changing whether you watch them or not. For now, the day has brought you as far as it can. You do not have to drag it farther. The room can be the room. The night can be the night. The unanswered can remain unanswered. And you can begin to discover that not every unsolved thing needs to live in your hands while you sleep. There is a reason the part of you that stays alert does not respond well to being told, just relax. It has heard simple instructions before. It has tried to stop thinking. It has tried to distract itself. It has tried to push certain thoughts away, only to find them returning with more energy. It has tried to act as though something did not matter, even while the body knew that it did. It has tried to sleep on command while the mind remained convinced that an unfinished problem still required protection. This is why tonight is not about forcing anything. The part of you that holds on does not need another command. It needs evidence. It needs to discover, little by little, that the world does not fall apart every time you stop supervising it. It needs to experience the possibility that you can care deeply without remaining mentally on duty every hour. It needs to remember something that is easy to forget when life feels uncertain. Much of life has always been happening without your management. Even now, while you listen, there are countless movements taking place that do not require your approval. Your heart does not wait for you to remember to beat. Your lungs do not ask whether this is a good time for the next breath. The body carries out thousands of quiet tasks without inviting your conscious mind to direct each one. Blood moves. Cells do their work. Temperature changes. Muscles soften and tighten. The body repairs small strains while your attention is somewhere else. Your eyes adjust to darkness without a meeting being called inside you to decide how it should happen. You have been living inside an intelligence you do not personally operate. You participate in your life. You do not individually command every part of it. This is true outside you as well. Morning has never required you to pull it toward the horizon. Night does not ask whether you approve before it arrives. The air shifts temperature. Clouds form. Rain falls. Trees respond to changing light. Seeds remain hidden for a time, and then begin what they were made to begin. None of this is an argument that every event in life will turn out the way you want. It is something quieter than that. It is evidence that movement exists beyond your personal effort. There are processes you can influence. There are choices that belong to you. There are responsibilities that truly are yours. And there are also countless forces, timings, decisions, changes, and natural unfoldings that will never be controlled by the mind that is lying awake at night. This can feel humbling. It can also feel like relief. You do not have to be the source of every movement. You do not have to be the one creating every next step. Sometimes the next step arrives because time passes. Sometimes information becomes available. Sometimes another person finally decides what they are going to do. Sometimes a situation changes because conditions around it change. Sometimes what was confusing becomes clear because you stopped staring at it long enough to see it was with fresh eyes. Sometimes the answer is not produced by harder thought. It appears when the missing piece enters the situation. Think of how many things in your own life became clear only after you had lived a little farther. There were days when you could not understand why something was changing. Then weeks passed, or months, or years. And later, from another place in your life, you could see parts that were invisible before. Not everything becomes understandable. Some experiences remain painful. Some endings never explain themselves in a satisfying way. Some people never give the apology you once hoped for. Some questions remain open longer than you would have chosen. The invitation is not to pretend otherwise. The invitation is to stop demanding that tonight contain knowledge that only later can hold. You have already lived through hours you did not know how to live before they arrived. You have answered questions you once believed would overwhelm you. You have stood inside situations that were once only fears in your imagination. You have learned while moving. You have adjusted. You have changed your mind. You have asked for help. You have discovered strength in places you did not know to search. You have also made mistakes and learned that mistakes did not end your capacity to continue. This matters because the mind often acts as though the future must be solved before you are allowed to enter it, but that has never been how life actually works. You meet most of life one moment at a time. Even the plans you make are carried out that way. A schedule may contain a whole day, but you can only live one part of it now. A map may show a long distance, but your body still moves through one place at a time. A decision may affect the future, but you make it from the awareness available to you in the present. The mind likes to leap ahead. Life asks you to arrive. There is a difference. Think of all the mornings that began while you were sleeping. You were not awake to supervise the darkness becoming lighter. You did not have to keep watch so that the day would remember to return. You did not need to remain conscious for time to continue moving. Hours passed while you were absent from your planning, and somehow the world kept happening. This may sound obvious, but an anxious mind can forget obvious truths when responsibility feels heavy. It can behave as though its attention is holding reality together. It can treat rest like an interruption in the work of preventing disaster. It can assume that if you are not thinking about the problem is becoming more dangerous. Yet many problems do not change at all during the hours you think about them. They simply receive more of you, more energy, more tension, more imagination, more rehearsed conversations, more inner arguments, more of the night. And if thought is not creating a useful action, then the question becomes very tender. What are you protecting by continuing? Sometimes you are protecting hope. You believe that if you keep the problem close, you are not abandoning the possibility of a good outcome. Sometimes you are protecting love. You feel that worrying about someone proves how much they matter. Sometimes you are protecting identity. You are the one who figures things out. You are the one who does not drop the ball. You are the one people can depend on. Sometimes you are protecting yourself from guilt. If something goes wrong, you want to know you did everything possible. Sometimes you are protecting yourself from surprise. If you imagine every painful possibility first, you hope reality cannot catch you unprepared. These reasons are deeply human. They deserve compassion, but none of them require endless wakefulness. Love does not become less real when your mind rests. Responsibility does not vanish when you sleep. Care is not measured by how many hours you spend worrying. Preparedness is not the same as rehearsing every fear, and your value does not depend on proving that you can carry what no one person was meant to carry alone. You may need to hear that more than once before your body believes it. That is okay.